All right, from the top, one take. We're building two guitars at the same time. Today we're going to do the second part of the necks, and I'm going to start out with radiusing the fretboard, working on the maple fretboard this time, 14-inch radius, and this is a 25-inch scale length if you watched the last video on this. Something a little bit different. So again, I want to do something a little different on both of these and do them side by side so that you can see that there are multiple ways to do things. So here I'm just taking my little fret slot depth gauge to make sure that I'm on point after doing the radiusing on the neck. And I'm taking my little 0.0023 inch kerf fret slotting saw just to clean up the slots. Smooth it down a bit. And then after this, yeah, so I think I went down to 400 grit on here. After this, I go ahead and do because I have a little bit more work to do yet after the fretboard inlays. Go ahead and mark them out, center punch them, drill them out, and there's not a whole lot of different ways to do this, but in this maple fretboard, I'm going to go ahead and stick the inserts in first. Then I'm going to flood them with thin CA glue, and you're seeing me doing that here. Then I'm going to file them as flush as I can with the fretboard to minimize how much more radius sanding I need to do. And in the other neck, I'll step through it at the time. I do it a little bit differently. But for the most part, this is one of those things, there's really only one way to do it unless you have a CNC machine or, a router jig that does the radiusing for you. A lot of just arm power and sweat doing it this way, but I like the results. Very, very nice. Put a little bit of sanding sealer on there just because this maple gets dirty really easily. This is the Acacia neck with is it the Paduke fretboard? I don't remember now. It'll come to me, hopefully by the end of this video. So I mark a center line and hit the center punch, drill out the holes. And the way I'm going to approach this one is I'm going to flood each hole with medium viscosity CA glue and then stick the inlays in afterward. I like this way better. I don't know. It's just, and then I filled it in with some thin CA glue and rosewood dust. So when you're sanding these fretboards, save your dust. It really helps. For some reason, these inserts were a little bit narrower than the other ones on the maple board. So yeah, little variation, have to compensate this way. Take the fretboard radius block and sand it down. Really, I'm just grinding that white wax into the fretboard. So I wanted to mention here too, you can take the radiusing block and go perpendicular against the grain. I know some guys are cringing, but if you've got some deeper channels cut in there and you're doing your job, brushing off the board and vacuuming it out, you can go the opposite direction and just sort of mix it up a little bit and then come back and watch how quickly the ink, it's not ink, it's wax. It's like a wax Crayola type pencil. Anyhow, vacuum it out. Make sure that you're keeping your shavings clean so you're not gouging new trenches into your fretboard. Same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure. This one was a lot better. I didn't have to go as deep. And come in here, you'll see I'm center punching the end markers, fretboard markers. Now watch this. Here it comes. Wait for it. Bang. Look at this. We have a fix that we need, or a break that we need to fix and repair. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it, save that piece of wood, and do this next step as quickly as possible afterward, because wood does shift and move around and you lose shavings. Try not to lose those shavings. Oh, sorry about that. This is not for kids. So I take a little bit of medium viscosity CA glue and put it in there. Press it in really good, hold it there for a second till it begins to set up, and then I hold it in place with some tape. And I'll come back to this here in a second. But this is, just do what you got to do. This really is the only way that I've found to properly do this. I don't want to use filler. I want to use the original wood. And I should have known. I'm on the edge of a 1/4-inch fretboard, even thinner now that it's radiused. And it's a very aggressive center punch. So I should have expected this. But you live and you learn. So it's almost perfect, but not quite perfect. Again, with the rosewood dust, stuff is gold, really, and some thin CA glue to fill in those additional gaps. You want to do as little, spillover as possible. Just keep it tight, and you might even have to go over it a couple of times. I try to get it done in one shot, but It is what it is. And then let's go back. Yeah, see that? Now I need to do the side. And then I can drill right through this stuff. It's a little bit harder. You just have to keep in mind that there is a repair there, and CA glue does bond and becomes harder than the wood that you're repairing. So flood that a little bit. This is going on a little bit too long. You get the idea. I think I wipe it down. Yep. Same thing on this one. I'm sorry for putting you through this. I should have just chopped this part out or at least sped it up. So now that that's done, I go ahead and come back over it with my radius fret block. I don't know why I can't say that word today. I do these things in one take, so I'm not going to rewind and fix it. But the radius block for the fretboard, and then go back and clean up your slots. Do that now while you have an opportunity. Make sure they're the right depth so that everything is on par with the rest of the fretboard. It was just a little bit of a detour. No big deal. You literally can't tell the difference. I can't. I mean, if I counted the frets, well, I mean, I know what fret numbers they're on, but when I'm looking at it now, I can't even tell if there's a repair done there. Go ahead and do the drilling. Resume where we were when that error occurred. And let's get these side markers installed. I'm not going to go through the whole process here. After they're done, take a very sharp chisel, knock off the ends of these things. I think I go back on a couple of them and fill them in with some thin CA glue. But that's it. Very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. That's probably one of the easier parts. It turned out really nice, even with the repair. And I'm pretty happy with how this one's going. Now, I'm not doing the full might of the center punch on this one. I'm just scoring the surface a little bit. Drill them out. These side dot inlays I got from Canada, and they're little tortoise shell inlays. Super beautiful, but they're a real bear to work with. I probably won't do it again. My fingers, you got to just set it right on the edge there and then pound them in. And meanwhile, the glue is curing and filling up the hole and soaking into the grain, and it's just a real pain. And they gave me exactly 10. So my 23rd fret does not have a side dot marker, and I dropped one because I'm surprised I only dropped one, but I dropped one. Literally took me 30 minutes with my glasses on, high power flashlight, crawling around on the shop floor until I found it. But I did find it. I don't know if I'll use these again. We'll see how they turn out when it's all done. I like them. They're pretty, but they're not easy to work with. Okay, now I know I'm not supposed to use my calipers in this way. We're going to thickness the headstock. I just score a light line in there so that the pencil has a channel to go in, so I have a guideline as to where I need to cut. I like to shoot for 15 millimeters. Take it off with the bandsaw, at least initially, and then it's a 1950s bandsaw, so I'm just going to go straight to the spindle sander. One thing I want to say about this process, it works well. Just clamp a backing board on there a little further away from the spindle, from the drum, than you want your thickness of your headstock. So you have a little bit of wiggle room to manually flatten it later. I don't like the 1.5 inch, 1 3/4, 1.5 inch radius drum. I'll come back to that in a second, actually, because what I'm talking about here is this call that I made. I want to take a veneer that I cut from a piece of Paduke, stuck it double-sided tape to a piece of scrap wood, and ran it through the planer to make a veneer out of it. I want to put this on there because I've done this before with walnut, and it turned out really nice. So I used this little caul and soaked the wood, the veneer, in water, boiling water, to give it a little bit of flexibility. Didn't work very well. It split. This is some really hard wood, and I'll deal with it. I clamp it down with that little caul and clamp it down really hard with wood glue. And this is the same process as I did with the walnut, which worked great. I'll stick pictures in here if I have them. But when I took the clamps off, you'll notice some real unfortunate things right here. Not to panic. Look at the clamp marks. So first thing I want to do here is take the steam, the wet cloth and soldering iron trick that I go into detail in my first guitar build series. I'm just going quickly on here to show you that I did have some clamp marks. I show all my errors, and they came right out with the steam and soldering iron. I'm trim off this excess before I get to work on these splits and cracks, because I only want to deal with the minimum amount of materials that I have to deal with. Want to make sure that the easy stuff is done first. Take that radius block, smooth that end of the fretboard where it meets up with the veneer. Turned out very nice. Now let's deal with this elephant here, these splits and chips. I'm going to attack this one first. Razor knife, chisel, I'm getting all the glue out of there and trying to give it a flat, square, flat, even bottom. And then I'm going to make basically a shim or a little, I don't know, like a pick. I use some 120 grit sandpaper. Save that sanding dust. That's very important. Just make it fit just right. And I'm flooding a little bit of glue in there and just jamming it in there. I'm splitting the grain out just a little bit, but it'll recede a bit. Sticking the sawdust in there. Clip off the end. And now we're going to go to work on the next side. Actually, I'm making some more sawdust to fill as a little gap filler. And it turned out well. The side here with the little triangular shim was a lot better than this one that I'm going to work on next. This one is a square, more of a square, but I cut it at an angle. Got to do a little bit of math to make sure that the grain runs parallel. Otherwise, it'll stand out like a sore thumb. It turns out to be a pretty good repair, but not without some issues. I'm going to use wood glue on this one, and in hindsight, that might have been a mistake because you, at the very end, will see a little bit of, you know how wood glue kind of stands out a bit? I'm glad that I did it. I don't know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. While that's setting up, I'm going to go ahead and go to work on the maple fretboard again. That's 1.5 inches, I think, drum. I recommend a 1-inch diameter sanding drum. It just makes the transition to the truss rod a lot more accessible, and it's the way to go. I wish I had changed that drum out before doing the second one. It would also been a good way to demonstrate 2 different ways to do the same thing. So here's the repair. It looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's difficult to see it, really. I know that it's there. You know that it's there. So it's going to be visible. Wipe it down with some mineral spirits, see what we got. It's not terrible. And after I finish this thing, I don't know if I'm going to go with nitrocellulose or poly or just straight up oil. But so you can see it a little bit. We'll see how the finish takes care of it when all is said and done. We're rounding the end of this video here. Pop in the frets. 2 different methods. These are pre-cut frets from, I think, Music Lily. I don't get paid anything to say that. Certainly don't get free frets, but they're stainless steel. They're jumbo frets. They're great. I use my little press that I cover how I put that together in another video series before this one. The maple fretboard, though, I'm using gold frets. Real quick here, I'm just filling in those little tiny gaps with rosewood, sawdust, and CA glue. This is a little fret bending tool that I got from AliExpress. It's a mess. I bought these 3-foot lengths of gold fret material, fret wire from StewMac. It's beautiful. 3-foot lengths. I wound up manually, manually bending them with my fingers to a 14-inch radius. It can be done. I did it. That little winding tool with the bearings on it, if you're going to get that and cut your own frets, or radius your own fret wire and cut your own frets like this, spend the money on a good one. I'm not doing that. I think I'm going to buy them pre-done from here on out. Though I did buy this cool StewMac fret tang nipper. My gosh, what a cool tool. This thing makes such easy work. Perfectly flush. It nips that tang off, flush with the bottom. It was actually fun. This was my favorite part probably of at least the work that I did in this video. I could do it all day. It took just a few minutes and they came out perfect. I don't think I do too many more of these here. Just very satisfying. And you pay the money for a StewMac tool, but if this thing ever goes dull or falls out of center or true, they will replace it. So that's worth it. Then I take it with a dull belt on my little inch and a half belt sander, and I just bevel a little 45-degree rounded sort of a ball end on each of these frets just to get a head start on it. Not that that's going to be the final fret ends, but at least they're not jagged and, warped from clipping them. The installation goes fine. I use my 90-degree and 45-degree fret end file. And we're about done here, I think. I'm filling in those little tiny gaps with maple. So that's it. We got 2 necks. We need to drill them out and shape them, of course. We'll do that in the next video along with the bodies. and we're going to route cavities and shape the bodies, and we're going to put these things together. I think we got one more video in this series. I appreciate you following along. Catch up on it if you haven't seen the other ones. Stay tuned for the next ones coming up. Thank you again for watching.